here we go. Making a pool swap on the fly. You love to see it. You love to have a backup, and the backup worked out fairly quickly for us today. Intended to have Dries playing a couple of games tonight, but he is not around, so he is going to get his one free out. If we have to reschedule for him again, we probably just going to give him forfeits, so hopefully he doesn't miss twice in a row. But Chronic and YungEvoh in the chat ready to go, so here they are. Evoh playing for his life here in this match against Chronic. He already played on Tuesday, or sorry, I'm losing the days. On Thursday? Yes, Thursday. He already played on Thursday against both Sharp and iRicky. And he had some close matches, but ended up 0-2, which means if he doesn't want to go to the bottom of the pool and he wants to have a chance at staying alive in the Feer 500, he needs to get a win against Chronic. There's no other way. If he loses to Chronic, he'll have lost to everybody, and there's no way he's getting a tiebreaker. But if he's able to get a win, there's a chance he could either stay in the game by tying with somebody else and beating them on game differential, or on the off chance, the very off chance it feels with the way he's been playing lately, the off chance that Chronic loses all of his games, then he will be ahead of Chronic, because Chronic has yet to play. And Evoh is going up 3-0, playing well for the kind of, I don't know, I want to say hate, but the smack talk that he certainly gets against some of these top guys. Evoh, a little bit of a punching bag in terms of trash talk. People definitely like to target him, I would say, but he frequently backs up his play. He may not play in the top 100 ladder, but he always gives everybody a tough game. Even when he goes down to the best players, he is not going down easy. He has proven himself time and time again. A part of the Young clan. He is 13, I believe. So we were talking about potentially doing next gen, Chronic, the next gen champion, when we did in the past, which was a bunch of 1v1ers under 15. The problem is we basically are already doing next gen. Feer 500 Season 2 is almost next gen, it feels like. We have so many youngsters under 15 who are so good at 1v1s. YungEvoh going to get a long shot after a flick from Chronic. Chronic has been, Evoh can say on stream earlier today. Yeah, here's the thing about single wins. Don't get me wrong. It's getting wins is good, but a lot of people will like to come to me and say, he's not 13? Wait, is he 14? Wait, he's under 15. Oh, okay. Wait. Is he 14? Is he 15 now? He's young. I'm pretty sure he's under 15. But anyways, the one thing I have to say about people will come to me all the time, nice low shot, threatening the high pop, made Chronic go high. He's 15? Okay, never mind. He needs to take Young out of his name. Man, YungEvoh though, on fire to start this one, up 6-1. Anyways, I'll say the point I was going to say, which is that a lot of people will come to me and say, you know, I beat this one person this one time in a ranked game, and while it definitely shows some level of prowess, for example, I would never beat Kensei in a ranked game in a million years. A lot of these top level guys are close enough to each other that it is possible to drop a ranked game against a certain player. That being said, YungEvoh is proving very living to be right, saying, look, I'm better than Kensei. I beat him in a ranked game earlier today, so you can see I have it figured out. Up 6-1 against Chronic. Chronic has been playing a lot of ranks recently. When we announced Chronic for the Feer 500, I honestly, when I asked him if he wanted to play again, I wasn't expecting yes necessarily. I wasn't sure if he was going to want to play. It didn't seem like he had grinded a lot of ones recently. But he was quick to say yes. He was down, and then actually ever since we've announced him, it seems like he's been on the 1v1 grind really hard. Whether that's for this or anything else, it doesn't really matter. But he has turned it up, and a Chronic that is grinding in the 1v1 game is one of the scariest Chronics, or one of the scariest players, I should say, period. And the only reason why not to think that is because he started off down 6-1 here against YungEvoh, but he is a high-flying 1v1 player. It's definitely the way he likes to play. He talked about in the Feer 500 before how he wished he could go back to old Chronic and basically play low on the ground, but towards the end of the Feer 500, he was like 100% air dribble player. He was going air dribble every single time. And that was how Sharp was able to beat him in the first season. Kind of made a read that Chronic was going to go for it every single time down the field and made the adjustments to save it away. But Chronic is back with a vengeance. Maybe not in this game number 1. YungEvoh showing why he deserves to be here in the Feer 500. Going up 7-1. But don't let this reflect on the way Chronic has been playing lately in the 1v1 game and will likely play for the rest of this Feer 500. And a minute 38 left to go. You got to think that Evoh will be winning game number 1. Chronic has dropped the controller seemingly. We go next game. Sounds good. Yeah, if you're not 13-year-old, if you're not a 13-year-old ones player, you're probably washed. Yeah, he did beat Kinsei though. It was on the stream. I think your thumb starts breaking down at 14.5. It's like your brain just like starts becoming slow in comparison to these insane youngsters. Anyone can beat anyone really. It's just who is more consistent at winning. I mean, to some degree, like I said, there's no way I'm beating Kinsei. But these guys at the top can, you know, steal a game or two away from even the best players. So Chronic is going to go down in game number 1. He was playing Dominus in that game number 1. Or maybe he was playing Octane. Either way, he's in the Fennec this time around. Yo, Voids, I'm just going to give you the follow. Chronic is going to get his first lead of the Feer 500. I think YungEvoh was able to score first last time. This time, Chronic will take the first. You're 29, dude. Tell me about it. Yeah, I know. I'm 28, and it feels like I just shouldn't play anymore. Because I'm too slow. Well within 150 points, anything is possible. True, true. You're 25 and play these guys all the time. All right, okay. We're all so bad, all right? Is that what you want us to say? There it is. Ooh, Chronic, nice fake. Should be able to get a second. Chronic, a new man at the start of game number 2. Only able to find a single goal in game 1. YungEvoh is here to play. Instantly silencing the haters, if you ask me, with that game number 1. Yo, C-Mets. Chronic trying to put on a style play for the gifted subs. But a great early challenge. Evoh challenging the way Mo was off the ceiling, and he's going to get rewarded with a goal. People's defense is just too good against these flip resets nowadays. Evoh takes it out of the air and grabs his first. Everybody get babies in chat for C-Mets. King Taiga, YungEvoh in the show match just got gifted a sub. Crisp, Sheena, and I'm a Tiny Rick. Give your boy C-Mets some babies. Chronic, pinch off the back wall, low boost. YungEvoh starving him out, likely going to take a power shot, but no, wants Chronic to be rolling backwards. A smart play, but Chronic is able to make the save. Evoh tap from the corner, saved away. Chronic demoed. Evoh should be able to get a second unless Chronic gets a miracle spawn, and he doesn't, so Evoh will tie it back up. Yo, catch or play. Thank you for the follow. YungEvoh is here to stay. He has shown what he is made of against one of the best players in the Feer 500. A third goal for Chronic. Evoh giving him the nice shot, a nice tap away deep in his half. Every so once in a while, when I join in the Manfield, I swear the colors get modified. I feel like we've turned the contrast up on Manfield Night, and for some reason, every once in a while, I join Manfield Night and it's like a rainbow. Does anybody else notice that? Chronic from the ceiling, net looks open. Evoh will make the recovery, but this is the Chronic everybody knows and loves. Chronic playing from the ceiling, uses the reset essentially at the perfect time to tap it over Evoh. Chronic, a direct kickoff goal. Starting to put a little bit of money where his mouth was earlier. Not sure that's a great example. I couldn't think of the other words. But the point is, Chronic talking a little bit of smack before the game. Now holding it up at least a little after a very, very dominant game number 1 for YungEvoh. Chronic trying to dodge what he thought would be a demo, but instead Evoh taking the ball away. Soft touch. Evoh likely going to be able to get a third. Chronic trying to milk that possession just a little bit too much. Needed to give up on the play as he greedily tried to take that backflip. That backflip was never going to find its way in against a waiting defender. Nice flick from Chronic. Chronic has broken down Evoh. Now, if this were game number 1, we might start worrying for YungEvoh about what Chronic was going to do to him. But now we know that YungEvoh can hang no matter how the rest of this series goes. Chronic going to shadow defend all the way out at midfield. Evoh, the early dribble, cannot carry it high enough or long enough, so an easy save from Chronic. Back the other way. Nice fake from Chronic. Chronic making it look like he's going to go musty. Takes it low. Evoh back the other way. Going for the 50 instead of the demo, and he makes the right choice as he gets a fourth. These air dribbles never going to score nowadays. It's always either the 50 or the demo, whether you're going to fly way in front of the ball or pull back from it to get that advantageous 50. Evoh, another possession off kickoff, another dribble. This time trying to go for the bump, but takes the ball just a little bit too high. Chronic able to save it away, but starved on boost as Evoh continues dribbling the ball back and forth. Chronic, unafraid, takes it away. Almost able to find the angle. Evoh to the side wall. This air dribble flip reset is well executed, but a little bit too far away from the net. Chronic able to adjust in time. So a minute 30 left to go. Chronic holding on to his lead. Evoh had a lot of offense recently on his way coming back. I just got a Steam message from Dries that he is here in case we want to do maybe Dries versus Mo next. Demo on Evoh. No rush to make a play with the lead. Can force YungEvoh to play with panic, but Chronic will eventually take the flick very wide of the net, but rushes it back in. I'm so surprised he was able to find the angle. Mo thought he was going to be able to initiate a dribble here, trying to dodge maybe a demo into the corner, and ends up getting a little bit lost. Chronic with a couple quick touches takes a 7. So a minute left to go. Chronic on the bounce dribble. Above Evoh, the double touch. Chronic with a heads-up play. You'll never score these dribbles if you take them straight to the net, and Chronic knows it. He'll tap it above Evoh and go for the double touch. 8-4, 57. YungEvoh says you win, just waits time. Seems like a bait. Are you fully forfeiting? I don't think YungEvoh meant to say he's forfeiting. One from Chronic, one from YungEvoh. We're all tied up. Heading into this game number 3. Chronic with a wave dash kickoff. Should be able to grab a first, and he will instantly retake the lead. Anybody's game in this series. But Chronic does seem to have warmed up a little bit here. Definitely momentum on his side. Evoh needing to find a way to get back in this game, and that's not a bad way to do it. No better way than slamming the ball directly at the net, right off kickoff with no interference. That'll do it for you. Chronic, another lost kickoff. This one, maybe another direct goal. Evoh smart enough then to go for it after Chronic had made the correction on defense. Another air dribble 50, and Evoh can't quite find the angle. Will he be able to get there? No! Chronic saves it away, and a little bit of a misplay from YungEvoh in the corner. He definitely, or in front of the net, he definitely had an opportunity to tap that one in and did not get the air roll he needed to put his momentum back online. So Chronic making a save, staying alive in this game number 3. Bounce dribble for Evoh. Chronic waiting right in front of his net, and Chronic, Evoh, just slamming it right into where Chronic was waiting. And Chronic was shadowing in the opposite direction you normally see these defenders shattering in. You would have thought Evoh would have taken it behind him with a shot to the far post, the way Chronic was playing defense, but wasn't able to find that angle. So Chronic able to save it away. Tap down to himself. Trying to get this dribble on top of his car. Took him a little bit too long, though, so Evoh will get the 50 and will get the second. So he takes the lead 2-1. How old is Evoh? Well, we had a big debate about that. I thought it was 14. But apparently it might be 15. I don't know when he turned 15. Why would he forfeit with a minute left and only 4 down? That's easily winnable. Yeah, it definitely is. But, you know, I don't know what to tell you. Evoh, low boost dribble, his flick saved away. Chronic not able to grab that side boost. Might end up being a bigger deal. Well, as I say that, I stop because he's able to grab it at midfield. Evoh can't dribble it fast enough to make Chronic pay. Air dribble bump for Chronic, a second for him. Well executed. YungEvoh giving him lots of space, needing to refresh on that boost. Chronic will make him pay. Chronic, the first touch off the side wall, not there. Has to use his flip really just as a way of defending and keeping YungEvoh from taking an easy counterattack. But he has earned himself yet another dribble, this time a fake 360 flick. And the bounce shot is saved away fairly easily from YungEvoh, and Chronic, trying to continue his attack, has turned into a YungEvoh long shot. Chronic thought he had an opportunity to go up and set a dribble, but has to take the long way around the ball, has to drive out and around the ball. Evoh, the direct line, able to beat him out, take a 3-2 lead. Evoh, great defense off the back wall with no boost. Perfectly timed jump to fall right in front of it. Never leave the window open. What a fake from Chronic, and the Doomsday should be easy. A third goal for Chronic on another nasty fake. Oof. Oof. Our boy went flying. YungEvoh tapped this off the side wall. Feels like a perfect pass to Chronic, and it almost ended up being that. Evoh somehow managed to get there and make the save after hooking Chronic up with a very easy touch. Super long dribble for Chronic. Can he take it all the way back? No. The low 50 for YungEvoh does take it away, but the pop above doesn't hit the post, so Chronic not able to get the second attempt either. And Evoh will get a dribble. He's going to start it early all the way from his side of the field, and Chronic up early to save it away. Evoh has actually a history in the Feer 500 of handling these defenders who pre-jump his air dribbles. He likes to take these air dribbles super early, and defenders frequently try and meet him right away. But he seems to be able to make the quick adjustment and read the defender, this time forcing Chronic away from the ball. And he's unable to make the save. Doomsday dish for Chronic. Easy touch as he gets it past YungEvoh on the side wall. Evoh playing with very little boost. Thought he had the angle. Chronic gets it over him. Oh, Chronic almost able to find the direct kickoff after YungEvoh completely fakes. He's now stuck on defense with absolutely no boost. Certainly has not favored him. Chronic, another dribble from the corner. These are so hard to bring back in front of the net, but YungEvoh almost, I mean, he kind of asked for it here. This is a hard shot to make, but YungEvoh comes out to meet him and actually leaves open opportunity. If Chronic used every last bit of his boost, the only way he's scoring is maybe if he gets a flip reset, because it's so hard to drag the ball back in front of the net that usually the ensuing save is somewhat easy, but Evoh giving him an opportunity by flying out in the air and meeting him for that 50. But a nice kickoff, and he erases the mistake right away. So 5-5. With a minute 16 left to go, a very crucial game number 3 winner gives themselves 2 opportunities to take the series. Loser will need 2 wins in a row. Evoh, nice shot. What a shot from the corner. A nice angle from the corner. Chronic's going to give himself a what a save, but this is a really, really good shot. Watch it from Chronic's perspective. Yeah, he's giving himself crap, but man, that is just really well placed. That angle was barely there. But YungEvoh able to keep that ball high and strong. Finds a way to get it past the waiting defender, and like every other goal, it seems, it's just countered right away by a nice kickoff. Kickoff goal is worth just as much as every other kind of goal. So both these guys needing to figure out a way to not just leave the kickoffs to the other player after a nice play. Fairly equal kickoff this time. Evoh able to grab possession and the ball. Chronic a couple fake challenges. Does not want to pull the trigger against a dribbling YungEvoh, but now a tough ball hovering in front of his net. Gonna have to use up a lot of his boost just to get it out, but a demo, and now he's got all the space in the world. Chronic keeping it on the ground. There was a time when Chronic, with all that space, you couldn't pay him not to take it up the side wall for an air dribble flip reset. But maybe a different Chronic here in the Feer 500 Season 2. Cuts it in field, goes for the ground dribble. 10 seconds left to go. Air dribble touch from Chronic, saved away. Popping it high, just setting Evoh up for the long shot, but Evoh does not have a lot of boost. Chronic not electing to let it hit the ground. Thinks he can find a way to get it in, and will he regret it? Yes, he will! YungEvoh with the 0-second goal. Chronic keeping the ball in the air, absolutely had the opportunity to drop it to the ground. He did not need to keep it alive. Thought he could maybe set something up, and Evoh will punish him as he goes up through 2-1 in the series. Here we go. Game number 4. YungEvoh surprising the crowd. I think maybe surprising chat just a little. Up 2-1 against a very, very talented Chronic. YungEvoh was talking to me in Discord after his first day. He said, Feer, does that mean I'm out? I know I lost twice, once to Sharp, once to Ricky. Am I out? I said, no, you're not out yet. You have to beat Chronic, though, if you want to stay in. And preferably, if you beat Chronic, you want to beat him by a lot, because there's a good chance you'll end up in a tiebreaker if you are able to beat Chronic. So Evoh knows what's at stake for him. He doesn't just want to win. He wants to win as soon as he can, I'm sure. Chronic has yet to play a game in the Feer 500, so it's hard to know what the context of each one of these games could mean for him, but you never know. Every game so important. And Evoh trying to end it here early. Chronic trying to stay alive, not drop his first game of the Feer 500, or first match of the Feer 500. Chronic air dribble, early pre-jump from Evoh. Evoh, a great defender in the air. And that is the perfect kind of defender you want to be against the Chronic player. Chronic so lethal in the air when he's able to get those stuff going. But so far, YungEvoh has really kind of prevented him from doing so. Has done a really good job of stopping out his flip resets and air dribbles very early, very high. And Chronic has now preferred to take it low, but here we go, once again, off the ceiling. Chronic was able to score one of these before. YungEvoh gets the save and gets the double save, as that one was still going to fall in. And Evoh, once again, his defense earns him a goal against a very nice shot from Chronic. Chronic trying to take Evoh out of the play instead of go out on the retreat. Chronic, his dribble flick doesn't go anywhere. Evoh able to easily make the save. And an open possession for Evoh. He's going to take a very, very high bounce dribble. All honestly too high to really call it a dribble. Evoh once again, air dribble from his half of the field. He really likes to initiate dribbles from that sweet spot right on the opposite side of the half-field line, it seems. Chronic trying to keep the pressure on, but an extended possession here for Evoh might finally end as Chronic's able to take it away, grab some boost in the corner. So a switch of possession. Evoh not able to find a goal on his few attempts. Nice cut from Chronic to the back wall. Makes Evoh miss, but doesn't get him a goal. And the ensuing play, Evoh's able to boom it out back to midfield. Nice 50 from Chronic. Oh my goodness. I thought Chronic was in trouble here as Evoh coming to make this challenge. I thought, no way. Chronic finds a way to get this 50, but he gets a perfect 50, bouncing it right in front of the net. And the easiest tap of his life for the first. Two minutes left to go, 1-1. Chronic and YungEvoh. Chronic given lots of space here. Evoh, big challenge, but then a hard retreat. Chronic's gonna go for the air dribble bump. Once again, Evoh's able to make the save, but he has to get a double save. How does he keep doing this? He slows the ball down just enough that it's still gonna go in, but he's able to find the second save. Both these guys not scoring on their air dribble attempts. The defense, too good. And this low scoring game number 4. With a minute 30 left to go. Chronic, nice challenge. Evoh not expecting it. Earns himself a second goal. Crazy backup challenge. That was very, very close to finding its way behind Chronic and into the net. But a quick reflexes backflip from Chronic, and he's up 2-1. Minute 20 left to go. Chronic needs this game to stay alive. At this point, it's all YungEvoh's doing. He likes the double save. He'll slow it down and then get the real save on the second touch. Shot from the corner, saved away from Chronic. Chronic not able to find the long shot. Evoh quickly back the other way. Doesn't have any boost to make a play in this situation, though. Chronic driving around to pick up pads. He has not minded shadow defense inside the net. He seems to think he can handle anything Evoh can throw at him. Evoh calling Chronic's bluff and not flipping out in front of the ball, just catching it for a dribble. Knew Chronic would not risk going for a 50, and a great flick from Chronic. This is a heads-up ones play from a great player who's going to try and slow this ball down. Chronic up 2-1 as the clock ticks down. He knows YungEvoh has to be riskier than normal. He knows he's got a pressure, and he will flick it above a challenging Evoh. So 20 seconds left to go, and it's certainly not impossible for Evoh. He's going to need a couple kickoff goals. We've seen him get them before, but not a great first touch on this kickoff. And likely Chronic has bought himself enough time. Chronic tap out the midfield. The shot online. Chronic will save it away. So game number 4 in favor of Chronic. So we are headed to yet another game 5 as we continue the match. Chronic versus YungEvoh. Here we go. Game 5. Chronic versus YungEvoh. Chronic's first game in the Feer 500 Season 2, and Evoh's potential last game. It definitely last pool play game. As we head into this game number 5, Chronic with a flip reset forces Evoh off the wall and is able to roll the ball in. A nice shot for Chronic. What a great setup. Even gets a little bit of a redirection there. Evoh trying to play defense off the wall, unable to. The Arctic Days, what's going on, man? And Faz. Evoh at the kickoff, saved away, but Chronic playing with very little very little boost on defense. Is able to pick up a couple pads, trying to threaten with absolutely nothing. Evoh an easy save and should be able to get a counterattack here. Playing on such low boost, you really have to hit a banger of a shot if you want to not get counterattacked, and this shot just not good enough. Evoh will be able to get his first. Chronic initiating another dribble. High flick. Going to try and get another touch above, but Evoh very patient, able to save it away. Caught a little bit inside his own net, but unafraid. Quick recovery from him. And he will force Chronic's dribble back into his own half. Chronic taking this ball back down to the ground, and I can't stress enough how that is a sign of a different Chronic we were not used to seeing back in Season 1 days. Chronic could not have possibly resisted that opportunity to set up an air dribble off the side wall back in the day. But we have got a new focused Chronic trying to take down YungEvoh, knows it's safer to keep it on the ground, and does exactly that. Gets his second goal with a flick over Evoh. Evoh, nice low 50, and a second for Evoh as he's able to tie it back up. Evoh has been part of some of the craziest Game 5s. It was Game 3 of the semifinals of a winners qualifier against iRicky, in which he went to essentially Game 5. It was Game 3 because it was a best of 3. But went to Game 3 and ended up getting scored on in 0 seconds and then losing in overtime. And then against iRicky, he lost in overtime in Game 5. Now he's found himself once again in a tight match against Chronic in Game 5. So he is trying his best to shake off whatever it is that does not let him finish out the series in that game-deciding game. But he is still in this one. Chronic able to get a long shot for a third. Up 3-2. 3 minutes left to go. We can basically all but guarantee he'll be within one as the clock ticks down the way YungEvoh's been playing lately. This long shot forces out a save. And Chronic has done a really good job of being able to hold on to a lot of boost. YungEvoh trying to make a play where he forces a tough save and then starves Chronic out. But if Chronic's able to hold on to 50 while making the save, it's never going to work. 50 deep in Chronic's half. This ball bouncing high at midfield. Evoh thinking better of going for a challenge. Chronic's air dribble trying to bring it above YungEvoh, and this save is far away. Both these guys going to be rushing back to the ball. Just an awkward enough bounce for Chronic to not be able to take it, but not a great attempt from YungEvoh. It felt like he was in a really advantageous position, and he kind of just launched the ball up to the back wall. And Chronic's going to be able to take it away very easily for a fourth, so a little bit of a misstep from YungEvoh halfway through this game. Chronic going to find a little bit of margin. Up 2, nice 50 from Evoh. This touch not strong enough. Chronic will be able to get the save, but low on boost. Stuck on defense. Evoh given a window. Chronic closes it. A very heads-up play from a low boost defender. YungEvoh will eventually score, but not a bad idea when you're stuck with very low boost to kind of show an option for the person to take that you know you can get to. Chronic kind of does exactly that by swinging really far wide. Says, here, the power shot is there if you want it. And he's ready to save it, but can't stick with it, as almost always happens. So hard to make consecutive saves with low boost. Evoh does eventually find a way in. And a complete faked kickoff from Chronic. Evoh makes that read early. This ball falling straight down, and Chronic not expecting Evoh to get that dribble so quickly, so Evoh tying it back up. Chronic able to get a couple goal lead, but finds himself diving into the corner for a boost while YungEvoh carries the ball into his net. Chronic definitely mixing up his kickoff a lot in this series. Nice half flip. A very important bump from Evoh to keep Chronic out of the net. Air dribble from Chronic all the way from his own corner. He is going to take it back down to the ground, try and bump Evoh out of the way, but a slow rolling bounce, and he cannot defend it. Evoh with a long shot. These bounces, when you drop them too far away from the net like Chronic just did, it's really hard to hover right in front of the ball. You cannot get too far out in front of the ball and make a connection on that defender. It's a little bit too hard to read how they're going to go. Evoh given lots of space between Chronic and the ball. Does not have any issue dodging him. Low 50 for Chronic. Can he find the angle in the net? He can. He'll tie it back up 5-5 after the mistake. Yo, Queebs, these games are insane. Every one of these Feer 500 games have been honestly amazing. Minute left to go. Chronic about to start a possession. Gets taken away from the game. So Evoh, an open field dribble. Chronic trying to close the distance. So Evoh initiates a instant dribble on the net. Chronic able to recover in time as he taps it away. Chronic with low boost. Trying to close the space on Evoh. Has been able to grab his own back corner. Once again, cutting it down to the ground. Chronic playing from the ground at any moment he can. Air dribble bump, and he is able to get a 6th. I'm not sure he was able to connect on Evoh, but it doesn't matter. We'll watch this from Evoh's perspective. Yeah, he just created a perfect wall in between the ball and Evoh. So 27 seconds left to go. Chronic up 6. If he can hold on to it for a few more moments, he will have sent Evoh out of the Feer 500 and got his first win. Evoh, 15 seconds left to come back and keep himself alive in the Feer 500. A nice clear. Chronic playing the keep away game, and why not? In the last few moments, he will slowly roll in a 2-goal lead with 8 seconds left to go. It's not over for Evoh. No, 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 no. Everybody, go to YungEvoh and chat. Give him some love. We don't want to hear any of that. Eight seconds left to go. Flick from YungEvoh, saved away. The clock will tick down. Evoh will tap it to the ground. Chronic will win his game, or his match number 1 in game 5. Evoh is sent home from the Feer 500 Season 2. Truly about as close as it possibly could have been for him. But we will hopefully see him next time around.